Judith, are you still there? I have some absolutely enormous, earth-shattering news that I simply must tell you this very instant. Andre and I have tied the knot. Can you even believe it?
Hold on. What? Celia, what in the world are you saying? What do you mean by saying that you and Andre have become husband and wife?
LOL. I knew that it would stun you, but now this means that I can finally achieve my lifelong dream of being a stay-at-home wife. I will never ever have to have a job or work, and I will just get to lounge around at home all day long. It will be so utterly amazing.
But you can't possibly be serious about this, can you? Celia, please tell me that this is some kind of joke that you're playing on me.
What do you mean? You do recall exactly who I'm talking about, don't you? I'm talking about the very same Andre that you were married to. But then I snatched him away from you, and you've been all by yourself ever since. Remember?
I mean, I haven't heard a single word from you ever since you did that to me. It's been 3 whole years since we last spoke. And I had no clue that you and Andre were still together at all, but I suppose you two are married now. I really just didn't expect all of this today, if I'm being truthful.
Well, I just wanted to say that I really am sorry for what I did back then. But I remember when I did, you kept trying to annoy us with all your bogus threats about suing us for seeing each other while you and him were still married. Do you remember how furious you were? Bombarding my phone so much that I finally went and got myself a new number. But now that 3 years have gone by, so have the statute of limitations for you being able to sue us. So I figured it was safe to finally contact you again.
So basically, you were just avoiding me so that you wouldn't have to face the consequences for what you did? That's why you didn't talk to me for 3 whole years? All because it was still part of your scheme to get away with stealing my husband from me.
Oh, come on, don't be like that. When you put it like that, it makes me sound really awful. I mean, I think it's kind of ingenious on my part, to be honest. I planned it out, looked up the laws, and I was able to steal your husband right from under your nose and get away with it too. I don't have to pay you a single cent either. I basically pulled off the perfect crime.
And in the meantime, you destroyed countless relationships. Not just my marriage, but even our own relationship, Celia. But if you're reaching out to me to tell me this, I wonder if you've also told Jeremy who you were dating before you got with Andre.
Jeremy? Oh, wow, I totally forgot about him. Man, you have a really, really good memory, sis. You know that? I mean, he had completely disappeared from my radar, if I'm being perfectly honest.
You're joking me. You and him together for so long before you did what you did to us both.
Yeah, sure. But that's all in the past now. And I don't really have to think about all the men I've ever seen in my life. Especially a loser like him. Just why do you think I traded up to get your husband from you instead? I mean, I didn't even save his number when I got my new phone, so I certainly haven't told him about Andre and his marriage.
How could you say that about such a nice man? I thought he was really lovely. If anyone is a loser, it's you for ditching such a nice man to steal your own sister husband. I still don't get how you could do that to me and Jeremy. You really are just horrible, do you know that? Why did you even bother reaching out to me after all of this time?
Now it all comes out. I knew that you were still bitter about this. Oh man, it really is hilarious watching you get so worked up over text. You're just mad because you were outwitted by your little sister and forsaken by your husband. Admit it.
What is even the purpose of this conversation? What do you desire? Did you just want to contact me to make me angry and offend me?
Of course not. I just wanted to inform you that Andre and I are still together. The real thing that I wanted to talk to you about is that he's working for a massive company right now, and I don't have to do anything. Just imagine it. If you were still married to Andre, then you could be living my life. But you aren't. I remember when I was with Jeremy, he had just switched out of his old job to some new one at a really pathetic place. They weren't even going to pay him that much, but he wanted it for the vacation time that he would get. I knew then that I could never be with a man who didn't have the same aspirations as me.
But you know that Jeremy's old job was really tough on him. I mean, you were always whining about how late he worked. There were even times when he collapsed on the job because of how drained he was. Of course, he would want something with more time off. And just what aspirations are you talking about? You literally just want to marry rich so you don't have to do any work.
You have no clue what it was like being with Jeremy. Besides, if I'm not going to be with a man who doesn't make a lot of money, then there's just no point in being with him at all. And just what is wrong with my aspirations? Everyone knows that a woman's place is in the house anyways. I just so happened to want to make sure that my house was a really nice one, and that I would never have to worry about money again.
You really are just irrational. Do you know that?
Don't be mad at me just because I saw what I wanted and took it. I know the real reason you're upset is because you knew that Andre had this potential in him, and I stole him from you. Ever since then, you've had to go out and look for another rich man. I was lucky since you went out and did all the hard work of finding him for me. And now I have a husband with a bright, bright future ahead of him, and I won't ever have to worry about a thing in my life again.
Is that really all you think a marriage is about? How much money your husband makes? I mean, is that the only reason that you and Andre have been together this long?
I am not even going to start to try and explain to you the level of strategy and planning that I'm operating on. My mind is like an enigma that you couldn't even start to unravel. But it certainly does help that I'm the cute younger sister. You might have been okay as a housewife, but I certainly look better doing it.
You know, when I was with Andre, anytime I asked him to help around the house or said anything that he saw as a complaint, he would always yell at me. He would get upset and told me that I was lucky to have him and that I should just shut up and go along with what he wanted.
Well, he never ever treats me like that. Probably because he sees me as his gorgeous bride and not like the maid that you were to him. He even gives me plenty of spending money whenever I ask for it.
Oh well. Good for you then, Celia.
Oh, come on, don't be upset. Just because my life is so much better than yours. I know that your life really sucks right now. But I'm sure that it'll get better one day when you find the right person. But until then, just know that I'm loving my life with your ex-husband.
You really think that my life sucks right now? What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, please, you don't have to act like it isn't true for my sake. I mean, you had it all. You were living the housewife's fantasy, and then I snatched it from you. Then you had no home, no job, no nothing. I utterly destroyed your whole life. And it's only been 3 years. I'm sure that your life is still in utter chaos. Ever since I did what I did to you.
Well, you really shouldn't be making those kinds of guesses because I'm actually in the best place that I've ever been. So, I'm happy that you took Andre from me. Because now I'm able to live how I want and I'm really loving life. Anyways, if you cannot waste my time with silly texts like this, I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Judith, what in the world is wrong with you? Why are you giving me the silent treatment? I sent you a whole gallery of pictures from my wedding, and you haven't uttered a single word to me.
Well, duh. I told you to leave me alone, remember? So why on earth would I bother to respond to you if I already had made it clear that I wanted nothing to do with you?
But you don't understand. I don't have anyone else that I can show off to. Everyone still holds a grudge against me for stealing Andre from you. So nobody wanted to join us in celebrating our wedding. Even when I tried sharing photos with my friends, the messages were just left on, not delivered. So I guess a bunch of people have blocked me. Even our parents have ignored me. You're the only person that I can talk to about this at all.
Right? Well, if everyone else has blocked you, maybe I should just follow their example and do the same thing then.
Wait, no, you can't do that. I mean, if I don't have you to talk to, then who am I supposed to flaunt my amazing life to? Please, you can't do this. Even though it was small, it really was an incredible wedding. You have to be there so that I can bombard you with messages about how awesome my life is. Don't you want to hear about just how spectacular my wedding was?
What are you even rambling about, Celia?
I'm talking about how now that Andre and I are married, we're going to move in together. And he's already secured this really enormous, magnificent condo. And I want to gloat to people about it, but they're blocking me.
Just why on earth do you think that I would just willingly subject myself to any of that nonsense coming from you? I mean, I'm actually kind of shocked about your wedding. I really had no idea that so many people had blocked you over this.
Well, They all just make judgments about my marriage. All because it's your ex-husband. That's why I told Andre that he had to make sure that our wedding was even better than the one that you two had. I thought that if it was this huge, even that a bunch of people would show up. But nobody did. But a bunch of Andre's family and friends showed up, so that was nice of them at least.
Wow, that would honestly really devastate me if I didn't have my loved ones at my wedding.
Well, I wasn't sad in the slightest. I mean, it just meant that there was more room and food for everyone else to enjoy themselves. Who cares if none of my family or friends were there?
Do you really feel that way? You don't have to pretend for me. I really couldn't care less either way.
Of course I feel that way. It was a great wedding, and now I finally get to live my dream life of being a housewife. I don't have to work, and I can do fun stuff around the house all day, like sitting and pacing. Sometimes I even get to go out and do some shopping so that I can cook dinner. It really is the dream. Yeah, this is what I always wanted. It's a much more fulfilling life than you have, I bet.
Yeah. It sounds like you're only doing things that I've only dreamed of.
That's right. I'm sure that you're basically on the verge of being homeless every day. You wish that you had the luxuries that I do, but I suppose most people would probably kill to be in my shoes right now. I mean, you really must be living in some kind of miserable little shack or something. Maybe you have a bunch of roommates and you all have to take turns using that one toilet. But I guess that's just how poor people with no money have to live their lives. Thank goodness that isn't me. I could never.
Can you please stop making so many baseless assumptions about my life? You seriously have no clue what you're talking about.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm sorry. You probably don't even have a real place. You probably just work at some factory and go sleep in the factory dormitory or something. Maybe you have to insert coins in the showers because you don't even have your own bathroom at all. Oh man, that's so hilarious to think about. Imagine how awful that must be. Oh man, that's so hilarious. I think I could cry.
What in the world makes you think that? Any of what you're saying about me is true?
Well, it has to be. I mean, you're still not married, so there's no way your life is anything but that. You're just a sad, pathetic loser. And that's all you will ever be until you get married again. And until that day comes, you'll just be living in your sad little shack with all your sad little roommates from your sad little factory job. You're like some kind of adult Oliver Twist. But you're still in your 30s and you're... Oh man, I am seriously laughing so much that my stomach is hurting.
Seriously, what is the matter with you? Are you really laughing so hard at your own twisted fantasies?
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure that one day someone is going to want to marry a divorced old hag like you. Is that right? One of these days, you'll have to tell me all about your sad, pathetic little life.
Well, for starters, my sad, pathetic house cost $1 million, so...
Wait, what? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the condo where I live downtown. I'm sure that it may not compare to the kinds of Mac mansions that you see out in the suburbs, but I'm very, very happy with it. The location and size and everything is just about perfect for me. Not to mention it's right by the coast. So, I gotta wake up to the sea breeze and an ocean view every morning.
But wait, your house costs $1 million? That doesn't make any sense at all. How can someone like you afford to live there? There's no way that some sad little assembly line job can get you a place like that. How can you afford to live right on the coast? That isn't fair.
I already told you that you had no clue what you were talking about in the slightest. But 3 years ago, when Andre left me for you, I decided to go and start my own business. It took a lot of work and effort, but now I'm worth millions of dollars.
Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. How can that be? I had no idea that you went and started your own business. This can't be right. You're lying to me. I just know it.
Do you really think that I would lie to you about something like this?
Of course you are. There's no way that any of that is true at all. I refuse to believe that you've done so well for yourself. I mean, I stole your husband, and he was supposed to be your ticket to the good life. No way that you made it so far by yourself. You're not supposed to do that.
Why not? Because I was a housewife and I was married to Andre. Well, while I was in the house all day, I was working hard to improve my craft as a graphic designer. I posted my work on a bunch of places and managed to save up a fair bit for myself. By the time that you and Andre ran off together.
And now you've gone and made all that money just being a graphic designer?
Well, you remember how I always into artsy things when I was little, right? Well, I had so much time around the house that I wanted to get back into art, and I really worked at my skill. Andre would always get mad at me for doing it, since he thought I could never make any real money from it. But I guess it shows what he knows.
So then what? You're some kind of professional full-time artist or something, and you make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh no, absolutely not. I did attempt to self-publish a few of my works at the beginning, but it never really took off. However, my work was impressive enough to catch the attention of some influential people who decided to invest in my company when I launched it. And now, it's a huge success.
So you're telling me that you're actually the boss of your own illustration company?
I am indeed, although I can really boast that I have a large number of employees or anything like that. But we all collaborate on really big projects that bring in a lot of revenue for us. In fact, your boyfriend Jeremy is one of my employees. I honestly don't think we would have achieved as much as we did in our job without this contribution.
Hold on a minute. What? Are you joking with me? Jeremy is working for you?
That's right. I felt so sorry for the way you dumped him. But you must remember that he was also a talented artist. So when I started my company, I contacted him and asked if he'd be interested in joining me. He said he'd be delighted to since he was struggling to find work after you broke up with him. And ever since I hired him, he's basically my star employee.
But I just had no clue that someone like Jeremy had any skills at all.
Well, he does. I think he's actually earning something like $100,000 a year or so now.
He's really making that much money. You've got to be kidding me.
No, I'm not. He's always on time and quick to deliver his work. All of our clients are competing for him. He's a solid foundation of my company by himself. So I make sure that he's well compensated. And thanks to him, we've been attracting even more bigger clients who are all eager to have that Jeremy's touch to their project. I think we even recently secured a contract from the company that Andrew works for.
Oh, wait a second. Are you serious? You're really working with Andre's company right now? But they're huge. They could work with anyone they wanted to.
That's right. But I guess the CEO really loved our work. And so he signed us on for a massive ad campaign.
I can't believe it. I really just don't know what to say at all. You started your own company and now you're doing so well. Not only that, but you hired my ex-boyfriend who is making $100,000 a year. That's even more than he was making at his old job.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Darn. Now that I think about it, I really should have gone to your wedding after all. You said that a bunch of Andre's co-workers were there, right? Was the CEO?
Yes, he was actually. Andre is a really good employee and he wanted to make a good impression. So he invited the CEO of his company.
Well, shoot, I should have gone to formally meet him. We've been chatting over email for some time now, but I guess then I would have been the only person on your side of the wedding who would have shown up, right? That would probably be pretty awkward.
Judith, I can't stand Andre anymore. You can have him back if you want.
What are you saying? Why would I ever want Andre back? Why would you even assume that I have any feelings for him?
Well, fine, whatever. Don't take him back. I don't care. I just need to get with Jeremy. He makes way more money than Andre does.
Wow, I really doubt that Jeremy has any interest in you at all.
What are you saying? You don't think he'll take me back? He's still completely in love with me, isn't he?
I really don't think so. In fact, I'm pretty certain he's already engaged to be married, actually.
Hold on. What? You have to be joking. I already told Andre that I wanted a divorce. We already signed the papers for it.
Wait, what? You've already broken up with Andre? Are you insane or something?
It's true. I really believe that Jeremy would still be all sad and miserable without me. When you told me that he was such a successful artist, I thought it was because he was so depressed. I mean, that's what makes artists good, right? I assumed he must have still been heartbroken over losing me. And that's why his art was so good. So I was confident he would take me back.
Oh, well, that's foolish of you. I'm pretty sure he's doing so well because I gave him a second chance at life and he's engaged. His art is coming from a happy place, if you ask me.
But what am I supposed to do? I already packed up my bags, and I'm living in a hotel now. I was going to contact Jeremy and tell him that I'm ready for him to take me back whenever I run out of money to stay here forever.
Darn! Well, those all sound like your problems. In fact, I never want you to bother me with any of your problems or boasting again. I'm going to do what I should have done a long time ago and block you.
No, wait. You can't do this to me. Please don't abandon me. You're all I have left.
I heard from a reliable source that after Celia dumped him, Andre's performance nosedived, and soon he was banished to work in the boiler room of his company, far away from any possibility of advancement. As for Celia, she had to hastily sell a lot of her belongings and move into a new place. I hear that she's crammed in a one-bedroom apartment with 5 other people, and they all have to share a single toilet. As for Jeremy, he continues to be my brilliant artist and even invited me to his wedding, which I eagerly waited to attend. As for myself, business is going smoothly as usual. I do always feel sorry that Celia and I could never reconcile, but I just couldn't tolerate her meddling in my life anymore.